everyone, welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your spinning host, Jennifer, because today, that's what we're going to talk about. It is cold in this house. First of all, I just turned the heat on for the very first time because everybody's cold, including the puppies. And I'm miserable. I'm miserable. Alright, so today we're talking about spinning because I spun something this weekend that I'm so incredibly proud of, and I could not wait to share it with you guys, okay? I just had to show you. But first, we're going to talk about, I spun this with my Kromsky, I think it's an interlude, spinning wheel, which is right here, which is facing directly at us, so you can't actually see the spinning wheel, but it's right here. I spun all of this with that. I do have drop spindles. This one is so pretty. Isn't that beautiful? But I spun all of these on my big spinning wheel. I am going to start, we're going to rewind it back a little bit because I think it was a couple weeks ago. I showed you guys some fiber that I spun, and the first fiber that I spun was the Inspiration plastic tube that I got in Happy Meal, you guys remember? And it was bits of really colorful bits of fluff, and there was some sparkly bits in there, there were some fluorescent neon-y bits in there, and I spun that up, and I showed that to you guys on the bobbin. And I told you that I needed to put it on into a hank, and I needed to wash it and thwack it and hang it to stretch out the fibers a little bit. I didn't actually do a good job at stretching the fibers, because I washed and hanked up, I don't even know how many in one day. Like, it was a lot. There was like 5 or 6 out there. And it was all stuff you guys have seen before, and I showed it hanked up, but I didn't wash it or thwack it or anything like that yet. So it was still kind of looking curly cued like this one. This one has not been washed or thwacked. So there's still bits that curl cue up on itself because I need to actually set the yarn. And I might ply it with something else. So right now it's just washed, okay? But it is hanked up. Now both of these came from the Inspiration jar. I split them up into brighter colors, and then this one was more of oceanic colors, like, you know, the ocean. And there's bits of orange and pink left over because it was left over from this, which did not fit on my bobbin. And it was a little bit here, a little bit there, so I just mixed it in with this, and we have a really fun colorway. So this is the neon one, washed, set, curled up. It's still got some curly bits. I am not perfect at spinning, I don't pretend to be. But when I show you the last thing, I feel like I did a really good job, so I'm really proud of that. So this is what that looks like, all hanked up, all washed up, all set. And this entire skein is, first of all, it's really, really colorful, but it's also, there's sparkles in there. And I don't, yeah, it's showing up a little bit. Like if you look right here when it flashes the light, there's definitely sparkles in there. So there's this fun colorway. This is like, this reminds me of the circus. It's very like over the top circus colors. There's parts of it that fluoresce. So it's fun. Part of it is, oh, this pink right here is like glowing. Oh, you guys can't see it, hang on. Yeah. So part of it fluoresces like crazy. And it's really beautiful and really, it's fun. There's not a whole lot here. What did I do with my scale? It's under stuff. And I think my scale might need a new battery. I want to say this is probably only a 50-gram skein. Come on. Come on, Queasy. Unit. Grams. How many grams is this? Oh. It's about 70 grams. So that's not too bad. I have no idea the yardage in this. It's very thick thin, so parts of it are thread thin and parts of it are like worsted weight thickness. But I don't mind that because I actually like working with thick thin yarn. So this one is complete. And it's ready to be caked up and used when I find the time or the project I want to make with this. But since it's only 70 grams, it will probably be something small, or it will be mixed in with something else. And unless I find yarn that is a proper color match, I just don't have plans for it right now. But that's what it looks like in the... It's really pretty and colorful. It's very, very cinnamon stitchy. And then this was the rest of the yarn, and this one's probably, well, 40 grams. This is about 40 grams. And like I said, this is not washed or thwacked. So when you thwack it like that while it's wet, and then it like stretches out the fibers. So it's still very curly cute and kinked up on itself. It's like my hair in the morning when I don't brush it. And this, I know that you can hear the dogs. I promise the puppies are fine. My daughter and my son are both in there watching the puppies. Andy does that when he wants to be held, and Juju is cooking, so she can't hold him right now. So he's being a bit of a brat, and he's also being a little bit bitey because he's teething. So he has to kind of be sat down for a few minutes. I promise you they're fine. So this one, the sparkle bits in this is more along the lines of like purplies and blues. But this one has green sparkly bits in it, and it's a different kind of sparkle. So that one is more along the lines of like tinsel pieces. Whereas this one is more mixed, like sparkle thread is mixed in. But it's like really fine sparkle thread. And I don't see any of that right now because... I mean, it's very, very, and honestly, these could probably go in a project together. I have no problem with putting them in a project together. But this one is more blue. And as you can see, like, it kinks up because it needs to be washed. And yes, I probably overspun it, and that's fine. Once you wash it, it will be more like that one where it doesn't want to kink up on itself so much. Come on. Okay, is soft focus on? There we go. I fixed it. So it's blues and pinks. Well, oranges. I don't know. It's not my favorite. It was me using up the rest of what was left over from that other one. I locked the door, Bubba. Bentley's like, Mom, I need to go to work with you. Bentley has been a little bit under the weather this week. He's had some stomach issues, and his leg was bothering him, so something probably happened in the yard. I don't know what. So there's that one. This one. And this one was on the bobbin until this weekend, so this one only got hanked up, and then it still needs to be washed. And then this. Do you guys remember? I had that bag of fluff that was a gradient, so it went from the lightest green blue into the dark blue, and it was just one steady gradient of real thin roving. It's called pencil roving, and I spun it and I showed it to you guys on the bobbin. I said, but when I show it to you hanked up, it's even prettier. This one's been washed and thwacked. It is a perfect gradient. One color gradiates right to the next color. There is like a green and blue here, more of a true blue here, a navy blue here, and then it goes to like a royal blue and then like a midnight blue. So this starts off light and it fades to almost black blue. That's how dark it is. This is going to be gorgeous. I didn't weigh this one, I don't think. And I don't remember how much this weighed. It's about 115 grams. And because this is probably fingering weight, this is probably going to be around 400 yards. And this one is spun really evenly. So for the most part, it's the same thickness all the way through. I didn't overspin this one. Now, one of the problems is when I take it off the bobbin and I put it on the umbrella Swift, it will get tighter and tighter and tighter. And so part of my hank is looser and this part is tighter. So when I stretch it out, that part kind of flops around. It drives me crazy, but I'm not going to rehank it. I'm just gonna eventually cake it and use it. So this is the lightest. It goes from lightest across the blue, and then it continues on to the different shades of blue. I just think this is beautiful. I'm really proud of this one, but this ain't even my favorite. So this is finally finished. But what I finished this weekend, what I did start to finish this weekend, and I'm going to pop up pictures because I took pictures of the whole process. I didn't want to film it because there's a lot going on in my house and there was a lot of interruptions while I was making this. Isn't that beautiful? So when you crochet or knit this up, it is going to fade from one color to the next very slowly. So it will go from the lightest color to that darkest, almost black color while working that up. That's so pretty. It's so pretty. And these are all wool or wool blends. I have no idea what's in these two, because these two are they were mixed fibers. Where's the other one? Did I not make? I did. I made another one with this one that I washed up. Let me see if I can find it. I know that I made another one with that and I don't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we got plenty to share and show, right? Right, so next. Do you guys remember the video? And I will link the video either in the end card at the end of the video where you have that what to watch next when it says thank you for watching Cinnamon Stitches. Okay, I will either put it there or I'll put it in the description box below, or I'll put it somewhere. And we went on the back deck and I did that kind of like janky video where I dyed the braids. Well, it was roving and then I braided them, and they have been hanging on my door for a couple months now since we dyed them together. Well, I was looking at them, I was like, okay, it's time to spin them up, and I was a little bit nervous because I don't know what they're going to turn out like. I don't know. I've never dyed roving until that point before. I've dyed plenty of yarn. I've never dyed roving. And so I encourage you to watch that video again after you watch this video, just so you can remember what it looked like. I mean, I'm going to pop up pictures. I will pop up a picture of the braid, the 2 braids, and each braid was 4 ounces. So this behemoth should be 8 ounces. Let me go to ounces on here. Yep, 8 ounces. This is 8 ounces of yarn. It is a bulky weight because I worked really hard. First of all, I took the braids and I separated the braids into, I think, 8 equal strips. So I took the braid and I stripped it straight down the middle. And then I took that half and I stripped that down the middle, and those 2 pieces I split down the middle. And I did the same thing with the other half. So I think it was 8 equal pieces of fluff, so that the fluff was like this wide, and I made it into strips about this wide, so it's easier to spin. And then I spun 1 braid on 1 bobbin, and I had to, it took more than 1 bobbin because I had some left over. So I tried to fit as much as I could on 1 bobbin. I need a bigger flywheel and a bigger spindle, I need the bigger contraption that the yarn winds on, because I'm really limited how much I could fit on those bobbins. They're kind of on the small side, and I can't do a full 4 ounces on there. And I would I asked Mr. Cinnamon for Christmas, I was like, can I please have the bigger flywheel? And I sent him screenshots and everything that I want. I want the jumbo bobbins. And I was like, this is what I need for Christmas, because I want to spin bigger things of yarn, because this I had to piece together. So all in all, I took all the fluff and I separated it and I split it, okay? And I left 1 as a braid. I hope you can follow this because this is really like confused. I took 1 braid and I set it aside. I took the other one, I broke it into 8 equal size strips on the long piece, right? And then I spun half of that on a bobbin and half of that on a bobbin. And then I took the 3rd bobbin and I plied those 2 together so that I had all 3 bobbins open again. So you take it and you spin on the spinning wheel one variegated set of yarn. So it's just one long strand of variegated yarn. Then you do another variegated, and then you misalign the colors and you ply those together. So you spin those together. And I did that several times with my 3 little bobbins until I spun all 8 ounces of fiber. And like I said, these are pieced together, so there's about 4 or 5 knots where I had to knot the pieces together. But this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I can't believe that I made this. So this is hanked up, but I'm gonna unhank it and show you. This to me is so beautiful. It's all those beautiful cotton candy sunset colors. It's plied together, so it's just phenomenal, and I could cry. I'm so happy with this. Okay, this is a lot of yarn. Like I said, it's 8 ounces of a bulky. I don't have a clue how many yards that means it's gonna be. I could count the strands and figure out, I could estimate how much it's gonna be, but I think that this is gonna, I mean, it's so pretty. Look at just, I'm gonna give you just a close-up of just this part right here. Look at all those fun candy colors. And it constantly changes color throughout. And there's not going to be any hard color breaks unless we find a spot where there's a knot. And like right here. That's going to be a hard breaking color because the 2 blues joined here, the 2 purples, and there's going to be a hard breaking color there. So at the 5 spots where there's a knot, there might be a hard breaking color. But other than that, I could color control this, and I could cut parts out. I'm not gonna. I have no idea what I'm gonna make with this because it's bulky. This would make just, honestly, I want something that I could wear made with this. And I know that there's not enough for a sweater here. I could mix this with white yarn though. And make something super fun like a cardigan or sweater. I could do that with a bulky yarn. I'm probably not gonna. I don't know I don't know, but like right now, I just want to love it. Look at it. It's so beautiful. And I was purposely, when I was spinning, when I spin really thin. I spin really thin, generally. That's normal for me. I very purposely worked hard to spin this at least a worsted weight. And at some points it's thicker than a worsted weight. And then when you spin the 2 colors together, it made a bulky weight. And so I think at the thinnest parts of this is worsted and the thickest parts might be a 6 weight. But for the most part, it's a 5 weight. I'm ridiculously proud of this. Overall, it has like a blue hue, maybe bluey purple. But when you get up close, there is like so many other colors. There's green and pink and purple and yellow and orange and all the variations in between. And it's just, I can't believe I did this. I have only been spinning, I don't even know how long. I'm going to say probably under 8 months. Because when we went to Alabama in the summer, I had been spinning for 3 or 4 months. And I think that was what, June, July, August, September, October. So 7 or 8 months I've been spinning, and I did this. And I'm so stinking proud of it. Is it perfect? No. Is it beautiful and does it make me ridiculously happy? Absolutely. It's a little darker in color than it's showing up. Yeah, that's a little more accurate. It's so vibrant and just fun. And like, this would make a fabulous wig. Hang on. Well, we'll do it right there. Wouldn't it be fun to have hair that looked like this? Is it not gorgeous? Oh, hang on. Let me tuck my locks in. Wouldn't that just be beautiful to wear as hair? I just want colorful hair like this. I just want to be a doll. So, bulky weight. It would make a good sweater if I had enough of it. It would make a fantastic like scarf set. I don't want to turn this into a hat. I feel like making it into a hat would be an absolute waste. This would make a really good sweater, not sweater, like a shawl if I mixed it with other, like, I'm saying like white. I think white is the only color I would mix with this to make all the other colors stand out. This has not been washed or anything. This is just straight off the machine. And I don't think it needs to be washed because it's not kinking up on itself at all. It's just, it's so pretty. And I'm really ridiculously proud of that. So what do you guys think? Am I doing a good job or what? And it smells good because after I dyed it, I washed it. And it still smells good from me washing it. Even though it's been hanging on my door, you'd think it would pick up a little bit of a dusty smell. It does not. It just smells good. It smells like, honestly, it smells like clean hair. It doesn't even smell woolly really anymore. Oh, and it's so squishy. It's so squishy. Like, there's like, you could stick. Now, if I do this, it reminds me of when we were at the Sheep and Wool Festival and I was sticking my fingers between the curly bits of the lamb when I was petting it. Except this doesn't have any like the sticks and hay that's like built up in their fur. But isn't that beautiful? And she's a behemoth. And she is just gonna... I hung her up on my door right back where she was to begin with. And I think she's just going to hang out there and be admired for a little while before I figure out what I'm going to make with her. But she is beautiful. And I'm so stinking proud of myself for doing this. Oh. I have a loose end. Tuck that in. I didn't tie the ends off. I used other yarn to tie it. Because I didn't want to mess up the ends or lose even an inch of this when I had to untie it or cut it. Isn't that pretty? What do you guys think? My journey for spinning has been, and there's videos watching me my very first time spinning on a machine. I have a video of me spinning on a spindle or a drop spindle. There are videos on the channel of me spinning. I will try to put them in a playlist in case you're interested. I'm new to this, but for some reason... crochet is natural to me because I grew up with crochet. I crocheted when I was a little kid. Like, I learned the basics when I was a little kid, but I never made anything. That's why I don't count. A lot of people say, I learned to crochet when I was 8. Well, I did too. I learned to crochet when I was 8. I don't count that because I didn't really make anything when I was younger. And when I was a teenager, I couldn't be bothered to sit down and crochet because I was doing 100 other things. And then over the years, I've made a scarf here or something here. But it wasn't until... I want to say 8 years ago that I really learned crochet. So I don't count all those years of playing with yarn because it was sporadic and it was across a long period of time where I wouldn't see yarn, touch yarn. And so while I did learn when I was 8, I don't count that because I didn't start crocheting full on until about 8 years ago. And then I was head first, just right down the rabbit hole and fell completely in love with crochet. Knitting took me a really long time to figure out knitting. And so it took 2 years for me to actually be able to make something. I don't know why my niece is sending me that, but knitting is a very different relationship. Like, I muscled through and learned to knit because I was not going to let knitting defeat me. And so still, I have like a weird relationship with knitting. I love knitting hats. I like knitting socks on occasion. I like knitting small things that are done in a reasonable amount of time. I hate knitting big things. I've tried to make a sweater. Can't do it. My body's like, no, we're not. My hands hurt from knitting. I would love a knit sweater so much. The furthest I've gotten is a knit shoulder. It's like a little shawl that just covers my shoulders. That's as far as I've got. I probably could make a knit sweater if I actually really pushed myself, but I like knitting small things, and that's okay. But knitting never felt... I don't feel a connection to knitting like I do with crochet because of my mom and because, you know, my grandma crocheted and all that. When I picked up spinning, and I've been wanting to learn spinning for years, but I was always afraid of it. When I finally picked up spinning, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I bought myself my little spindle kit, which is in my Amazon store, if you don't know. It's this little cute thing. It's the, I think it's pronounced Dicha. is a little kit. It's in my Amazon store, which is linked below. And I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna figure it out. I watched a ton of videos, and I kid you not, from the second I actually felt what it felt like to do the drop spindle, and it was not easy at first. And I have my first knit hat in this room somewhere. I don't remember where I put it. It's in one of these rolly carts that you can't see. I'm not gonna go searching for it. It was ugly. It's an ugly hat, but I'm gonna keep it because that's where my journey started. Just like I have my first crochet blanket that I ever made. Will I use it? No, because it's made out of Red Heart Super Saver and it's itchy. No matter how many times I've washed it, it irritates my skin. It's a mixture of Red Heart Super Saver and AC Moore Stitch Studio by Nicole. So part of it's cool and part of it's like, and it's the purple from Red Heart Super Saver, so it was really, really itchy. I won't use the blanket at all, but it's still in my closet and I won't get rid of it because I did that and it was a king size blanket. It was the first thing I ever made that I made, you know. And same reason I keep the first hat that I spun the yarn and then knit the hat up. I will always keep those because that reminds me of where my story started. But from that first time, it just felt natural to me, and I feel really, really connected to spinning in a way that I can't quite explain. And I don't know what I believe in fully when it comes to like past lives. Like, I kind of think that it's possible to have past lives, but also I also believe there's a Native American belief that, and I don't know what Native American tribe this is, but I read it in a book years ago and it stuck with me, that the Native American tribe, specifically in that book, and I don't remember, believes that when a baby is born, it is born with all the knowledge of their ancestors. And maybe part of that is, maybe that's true. Like maybe we are born with all that because maybe it's stored in the DNA cells. I don't know. I don't know any of these things. These are just things that pass through my mind. If you don't believe in any of these things that I'm saying, you don't have to comment on it. It's okay. I have a strange set of beliefs. I believe a little bit from a whole bunch of different arenas. So I am not strictly Christian. I am not, like, I believe in the power of nature. I believe in the power, like, you know, I got a little bit of witch in me. I got a little bit of Native American in me. I got like a little bit of things that just filter into what I believe and how I feel about things. And you do not have to agree with me, okay? It's cool. I don't think I am an all-powerful being that you have to follow or even believe the same thing I do. And I don't believe that any one person on this earth has all the answers, because I don't think that's true either. With that being said, I feel a spiritual, deep connection with spinning. And making this, I'm so happy I could cry because I feel like I really did something. And I'm going to be honest with you, I saw yarn that looked just like this, but in like dark colors. So like, you know, more autumn colors, fall colors. And it was about this size. And it was hanging in a booth at one of the woolen sheep festivals. And it was $85. And I touched it and it was so beautiful. And I saw the love that she put into it. And I was like, oh. And I looked at it, I squished it. And I was like, I kind of want it, but like I didn't like the colors. And I'm sure she thought I didn't like the price. But like $85, I know this was an entire weekend of hours of me sitting and spinning at the spinning wheel. And me plying the yarns together. And like, that's not even washing and hanging it up. Like, it's hours. It's our craft. And like how much love and stuff goes into anything that we put, like any craft we do. I don't think $85 is unreasonable for her yarn. I just didn't like the colors enough to buy it for that price. So it wasn't the price, it was the colors. Like if it was this, take my money. Here's a hundo. You take my money. And the fact that I made it myself is even better because like she's my baby now. And we're going to rock her and love her and squeeze her and kiss her and love her. And then we're eventually going to turn her into something fantastic. And I don't know if I want to knit or crochet it because she's a bulky weight. Like I might be able to knit something and make the yarn stretch a little further and it not be as tedious as if I was working with something thin and knitting, you know? But I'm so stinking ridiculously proud of her. And I'm thinking, that's what I'm thinking with these two. These are beautiful, But if I could ply them with something that's not so loud, it might tone them down a little bit, but still give me the oomph that I'm looking for with yarn. So that's why these are just kind of sitting off to the side right now. But I have lots of other yarns I could ply with it. Right now I'm just spinning for the joy of spinning, not spinning to make them into other things, because I have a long list of things I want to make and I need to make for the channel, and sometimes I get overwhelmed with, sometimes I just want to spin to spin, and sometimes I just want to knit a hat because I want to knit a hat. Sometimes I just want to make something for myself that has no other purpose than I'm sitting down and enjoying my craft. And that's something I really struggled with at the beginning of the year, is I was doing so much for the channel that I completely lost all of my willing or wanting to even pick up yarn. And that's not good for me at all. So I need to balance work with, this is what I'm doing for fun with no purpose. And I do have more roving in the bottom of this blue thing that is sitting there and I have quite a bit of it that is waiting to be dyed. But the problem is I dye outside. And the reason I dye outside is because that's a lot of chemicals and stuff in my house, and I'm not, it also takes up the whole stove when I do it. I dye outside, and the problem is the weather is cold, so it's not going to dye as easily, and the leaves are raining down on my back deck, so I can't even, like, I can't go out there without stuff just, we were out there the other day, and we had the plastic pool for the puppies, and I just dumped it out and cleaned it out, and in 5 minutes it was filled with pine needles and leaves and acorns. 5 minutes being outside. And so I don't want any of that crap in my yarn. So I'm not going to dye anything for a while. But rest assured, when I do, I'm going to do this all over again, and we're going to have something beautiful in totally different shades. I'm thinking, like, see, I want to do bright neons, but I also really like the way this turned out. Is this fluoresce? I didn't even check this for fluorescence. Okay, the pink fluoresces, which you guys can't really see on camera. I mean, parts of it fluoresce, but it's not real. The parts that are real bright are kind of, oh, that's a little bit better. Isn't that beautiful? Even in the black light, it's pretty. So parts of it fluoresce, but not a whole lot of it. Like the blue does not fluoresce at all. But blue, I up until recently, I didn't have blue fluorescent, but I have it now, so we could do something just fun like that with the fluorescent yarns as well. So that's my little spinning update. We have other content coming up this week. I don't know. I wrote a bunch of lists down of things I wanted to make videos on, and it's a matter of having the time and the space to actually sit down and film and then edit. Because puppies and homeschool, and homeschool's still going really good. Like we're little man is doing really good with math that is more difficult for me. So while I'm struggling with it, he's like, no mom, it's like this, and he's acing through it, and I'm like, that's my boy. We're doing a lot of high-fiving and good jobs, and he actually got an award today. So I issued him an award for being a hard worker, because he's just doing it. He is doing the dang thing, and he's not complaining, and I'm just really proud of him. I'm really proud of both of us. We're kicking ass and taking names. So with that, I'm gonna let you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.